Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be starting our Solitaire Sunday cycle for the game Warfighter Nam. Now, this was kind of a popular demand thing. I gave the viewers a choice, and there weren't a ton of votes, which is fine. It's completely voluntary after all. But only one actually voted for the other game, which was JU87 Stuka Ace. Now, that game is going to get played and probably next, unless something else comes up that I feel should bump it in line. But for now, we're going to take a look here at Warfighter Vietnam. Now, I only have the base game. There are a bunch of expansions available for the game, but to buy everything, it runs you a lot of money. Let's just put it that way. So I only opted for the base game. Now, I have played Warfighter before, but it has been a while. So it is likely I'll mess some stuff up. I apologize for that ahead of time. I know some of the viewers will probably point out mistakes I make along the way, which is also good. But I just wanted to kind of warn everybody that, don't take everything I'm doing here as gospel. The rules are fairly clear, but there is some ambiguities in some spots that other people have struggled with. But I'm hoping that that won't be the case for me, at least not too much. Now, we do have here on the board, this is the board, as you can see. Now, this is a card-driven game, as you probably already know. Doesn't mean there aren't any counters. You can see counters spread around here as well. But it is primarily driven by cards. These are the action cards right here. Okay, for setup, there's a setup up here in the corner. And the first thing you're going to do is select region and hostiles. Now, if you have the expansions, then you'll have more options in selecting both of those things, your region and hostiles. In my case, I have the base game region, which is, of course, Vietnam, and the base hostiles. The second step is to shuffle the action cards. Now, I've already done that. There is a good amount of these, as you can see. So that is a fairly sizable deck. By an overwhelming margin, the majority of the cards that you get with the base game are these action cards. Okay, third is to select the mission and objective card, and optionally a situation card. So we're not using the situation card. The mission card I chose is Fortunate Son. The advice of the new recruit manual was to pick something that did not have a type, and this one does not, as you can see. Fortunate Son there, and we'll go through maybe some of what all this stuff means here in a moment. That is our mission. Now, the objective I chose was Satisfaction. One of the neat things about this game is the nod to 60s music that most of these mission or probably, I guess, all of the mission and objective cards have. So we get a little Creedence Clearwater Revival for the mission and a little Rolling Stones for the objective. But you can see it says in the very first line, keep clear 1. And you can see the entrance cost is 2 up at the top. And we'll talk about this as we play. Then the number of reticles based on where your objective is. And in this case, the objective for this one is 4, which is put right here on the mission card. You can see right there, it says number 4. So you're counting columns, basically 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes here. And that the reticle is the number of enemies, and it says 7 for number 4. So that is a not insignificant number. But also here on our mission card, you can see the body count at the bottom is 14. So we need to kill 14 enemies to succeed at this mission, as well as reaching our objective and keeping it clear. Now, there are a lot of keywords in this game, and they're explained in here, typically, so you can look them up and find things that you might not understand offhand. For the first time you're playing, you see there, keep clear, X. This is keep clear 1. And it says, once you activate the objective, you must have no hostiles in the objective at the end of each soldier turn for the specified number of consecutive soldier turns. And then it gives you an example as well. An objective has keep clear 3. Now again, we're using keep clear 1, so it's only 1 turn. At any point after the objective has been activated, you must end the soldier turn, the next soldier turn, and the next soldier turn. That's 3, with no hostiles in the objective card in order to complete the objective. For us, it's just 1. So basically, we have to get there, kill the bad guys, and end our turn with no hostiles remaining, and then we win the mission. But we also need to make sure that we have a total of 14 body count, which actually should not probably be a problem, as we'll draw them as we traverse these locations. Now, you can see there's nothing in 2 or 3 yet. Those locations have not been drawn as of yet. They will come from the location deck, which is up here. So you have your location cards. These are the enemy cards, the hostile deck, I guess. Yes, the hostile deck. Then we have a spot here for our body count. And of course, our action cards. Then you have you have the mission timer here. This is a 6-turn mission that is right here on the mission card. Turns 6. So I put my little timer marker here on 6, and we count down. And when we reach 1, if we have not achieved our objective, we have lost. Okay. And then you've got your attack chart here. So attacking is interesting in a way. So you have to roll a hit number to actually hit the target, and then you also have to defeat their cover. So you have a grid here that explains that. So if you, for example, miss on the attack but succeed on the defeat cover, then you suppress the enemy. If you fail both, there's no effect. But if you then hit on the attack roll and fail the cover check, then you suppress them. But if you pass both, then you kill them. So there's it's a very simple chart here on the board, and it gives you that. Then we also have the attack sequence here on the board, how that works, going through the soldier attacks and then the hostile attacks for when it's the hostile turn. And then our turn sequence is right here. You've got environment. So if you're, we'll talk about that. We'll get into the specifics as we play, but you've got environment and then your actions. Your attack, you can play an action card, you can reload, you can discard and draw action cards. You can move, you can remove a suppressed marker, you can engage in hand-to-hand combat, but that may require more than 1 action. Then you pay retain costs. If you have an action or an effect that is something you want to keep for the next turn, then a lot of those will have a retain cost that you'll have to pay. And you can pay, the cost varies. It could be a card, it could be a experience point. There are several different things it could be. Could be body count as well. That was one thing. So we're going to get started. Now, you have your soldiers. In this, the cost here in resources, we had 32 resources. Okay. So with those 32 resources, you can buy weapons and skills and equipment. Okay, 32 is not a lot, because you can see the first soldier I bought, and it's a player soldier, which is the only one that can have action cards, is Vasquez here, and she costs 17. Okay, so she does have a health of 5. Here, let me pick this up so you can actually see a little better. So this is Vasquez. Okay, so you can see cost up here is 17. That's her movement ability of 2. Her health, so that's how much health she has. She can take 5 levels of wounds before being killed. And that also denotes how big her hand of action cards is, except that we do have a +2 hand size on here. So she actually gets 7 cards, which is nice. Loadout is the weight she can carry, which in this case is 12. She's got a 3 cover. That's what this little 3 under the half circle means. And then you see there it says H2H +0. That's for hand-to-hand combat. So she's not what you would call a great melee fighter, but she's not a detriment either. Then you can see she's got 3 XP, so she gets 3 experience point counters. She's got the candy bar skill that I'll show you in a second, and she's got a ready keyword. So what does all that mean? Well, the candy bars is this, and when you buy it, it costs 2, but if she already has it, you don't have to pay for it. And you can see it's an expend, which means you use it once and it goes away. You redraw one battle fatigue action card drawn each turn for the rest of the mission. So battle fatigue cards, they look like this. You play a card, an action card, or you draw this and you immediately discard it. And what it does is it basically makes your draw action null and void because nothing happens, good or bad. But with the candy bar, once you play that, you can discard one of these each turn. So you can discard and redraw, basically. So instead of just discarding, you can redraw, which kind of nullifies the effect. But if you draw a second one, then that one will be one that nullifies your action. Okay, now the key word on here for her was ready. So again, we can go to the book here and go to ready. Okay, my bad. It's not a keyword, it's a card. So this is a skill card. So she has the ready skill, and it says play one body count to perform a discard and draw without spending an action. So you can do this. Now she only has 2 actions. Everybody gets 2 actions. So she's got basically two skill cards here. Well, candy bars is technically equipment. This is what those look like, equipment card, and you can see that they've got a bunch of different ones here. This one lets you carry more loadout. You've got a flashlight, all this stuff, and they all have a cost, right? So I'm going to talk about that, a little bit more about that in a moment. But what I wanted to do also was go through the rest of it. Now she gets a counter here to mark her as Soldier 1. Okay. She's got an M16 rifle, so let's look at the weapon card. So here's our weapons card. Okay, now you see you start with 2 XP. Then you've got range, and if it's range 0, which means same row. So once enemies are drawn, they're going to go in these columns. I said row, but they're all columns. I'm going to go in these columns, and that will, if your soldier is in the same column location, it's really location, but they're lined up as columns. So you get what I'm saying. If there's an enemy here and my soldier is here, which you denote by having your marker in there, that means the range is 0. So at 0, you roll, and a 3 or less is a reload, which means you lose an ammo marker, and this one starts with 6 ammo, right? A 7 or higher is a kill. Then at range 1, reload is still a 3, but the kill gets a little harder because you're further away. That's an 8. Then you have mode. Since this is an M16, it's an assault rifle. It's got the ability to be automatic fire. If you do that, you get 3 rolls, but each of those rolls will have a chance of triggering a reload with a 3. But semi, you get 1 die. So you roll 1 die. With auto, you roll 3 dice, which triples your chances of having something good or bad happen. Or a mixture thereof, right? You could have a kill. In theory, you could have a kill, a jam, and a reload all on the same dice roll, basically, because you're rolling 3 dice. These are our ammo markers. So when you do get that reload, you take one and you flip it, and it's now empty. Okay. You can also jam, but the jam counters were not included. There's also a enemy held, friendly held counter that also was not included, that what you're supposed to put on here to determine who's holding the objective. I might use some kind of mnemonic on here, just a little something. I've got extra blank counters or whatever I can put on there. I'm not Mr. Crafty here, so I'm not going to try to create something that looks like the actual counter that's shown in the rule book, but was not printed with the game. Okay, so that takes care. Oh, here's an action chit, right? So you keep this, and then you flip it over when you've used your action. So she has 2 of those. She's also got experience counters. So this is an XP counter. On the other side, it's 2. So she has 1 that's on the 1 side and 1 that's on the 2 side because she's got 3 experience. And This is the keep clear thing that you can put on here if you want to make sure that you remember that you have to keep it clear for one turn. I won't put that on there until it's activated. Now let's move on to the second one I have, which is a non-player soldier, an NPS. He's Vietnamese, South Vietnamese, so he's an Arvin. An Arvin, I should say. You can see he's got the flag of the Republic of Vietnam there, South Vietnam at the top, and his name, and then the same things, at least in general. That's his cost, that's his movement, so he's got a lot more movement than Vasquez does. His cover is only a 2, and then you see 3, 2, and 1 here for actions. This is his health. So he starts with 3 health and has 2 actions. And then if he takes a wound that knocks him to 2 health, he'll still have 2 actions. But if he goes down to 1, then he only has 1 action. Then you can see he comes equipped with a MAC-10 submachine gun. He's got the Hardy ability, which is a counter, and I'll show you that. It's expendable. And then his hand-to-hand is actually a +1. All right, so as I mentioned, he has a Hardy counter, which is this guy right here. It's Hardy 1 on one side, Hardy 2 on the other. So he expends that if we come into a hot environment on one of our locations. He'll be able to go in there without any detrimental effect. That's part of the environmental step that's in the turn sequence here as the first item. He also has 2 action counters. And for him, he has this MAC-10 submachine gun, which again is this one's only good at range 0, so no long range fire. Reload is a 2, and a kill is a 7. Then it also has the semi mode and the auto mode, and it comes with 5 45 caliber ACP ammo, so it has its own ammo markers as well. And it works the same way. If you roll a reload, you expend one of the markers by flipping it over. And then finally, we have a squad soldier here, and that's designated right there, SQS. His cost was 5. Movement is 3. His cover is only 1. Okay, now he's got battle fatigue too. We'll talk about that here in a second. But again, his health is 2. So he gets 2 actions. And then his range 0 kill. So he can only kill at range 0. He needs a 4 when he's at 2. And he needs a 5 when he's at 1. So that means he's actually a little bit better because lower numbers are easier to hit. And then you have stepping up, battle fatigue 2, and then his Hardy hot. So he has the same Hardy hot, and he has an XP. So here's his Hardy counter. Here's his XP. And he's got 2 action counters. And now he also has this battle fatigue here, which you can see, okay, it actually has a negative cost of -2. But you say a soldier may have this skill if the skill is printed on the soldier's card, and you add 6 battle fatigue cards to the draw deck and then shuffle, which I already have done. And he also has this stepping up skill. Okay, you may purchase this skill for NPS or SQS soldiers. It costs 1. He has it for free because it's on his card. You may pay your actions for the play cost of a location placed adjacent to you. Okay, so we'll keep that as well. And he is number 3 right there. So that is that. Now, my plan was to kind of zoom in a little bit and play as we play. And I'm actually now, because the setup has gone kind of long, I may just use this as a standalone. This is the first video. We'll put this up, and then I'll do a playthrough for part 2. Only because I know from previous experience, people don't watch the whole freaking video. And I feel like if I stand here and do an hour-long video and people watch 10 minutes of it or 5 minutes of it, then I feel like I'm wasting my time a little bit. But it's also an average. So the people that watch 5 seconds and are like, hey, I don't care about this, and move on. And others that maybe watch the whole thing. So I know some will watch the whole thing and some will tune out right away, and others may be somewhere in the middle. So I'm trying to keep all of that in mind when I do this. So here are our dice. Let me talk about the dice real quick. So obviously D10, the rifle is the 10, right? So you get 4 of those with the game. So you can roll all these together, you know, and see what you get. And we also have a D6. This is for the defeat cover. Okay, so as I said, you know, you have, well, here's a hostile. Let's just take this hostile and I'll stick it on the bottom. So here's the hostile, right? And he's got a cover of 4. So if you roll this die and you get a 4 or less, then you did not defeat his cover. And so, you know, if we roll this and we got a 4, we didn't defeat the cover. You need a 5 or a 6 to defeat the cover. And so this is the unengaged side where it's a mystery what exactly he is. But on the other side, you have the engaged side. So when we play, we'll go into how you engage an enemy. But then you can see the cover actually goes down to a 2. Right? So they're harder to hit on their unengaged side because they're, you know, there was a lot of firing into, you know, bushes and stuff in Vietnam without like any enemies actually being there. So they're harder to see when they're in this mode. You engage them, now they're a little easier to hit, but they also become much more able to do you harm as well. So there you go. That's what an enemy card looks like. It's pretty similar. You've got their health, right? So there are three reticles. So that means there's 3 soldiers here in this commander and troops. So you have 3. When all 3 are alive, they use this column. When it's 2 or 1, they use this column. Now suppressing them is the same. That would also make them a 2-1 if you suppress one of them. So that's how that works. So I'm going to tuck this back on the bottom here. And I'm going to wrap this up. And as I said, we'll use this as a setup video, and then we'll do gameplay starting in the next episode. And it'll probably be 1 or maybe 2 episodes of gameplay, and then we'll move on to the next game. So, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. You have any comments, questions, things I missed, please let me know. Post it in the comment section. As I said, I appreciate you watching. Hope you will consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. Or if not, at least come back and check out some other stuff that I may be doing down the road or may have already done that might catch your fancy. Either way, that would be great. But yeah, that's it. I'm done. This is Joe. This is the Hexed Encounter channel. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.